Welcome to the fourth episode of Cooking for Wellness at NYU Langone Health. Today we are focused on cooking for a healthy gut. Gut health is the function and balance of bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract. Gut health can be improved by incorporating probiotic and prebiotic-rich foods into your diet to help populate beneficial gut flora. Prebiotics are found mostly in high-fiber foods, and probiotics are made of good live bacteria and yeast that naturally live in your body. Since we are now deep into winter, I like to cook hearty, warming meals like soups and stews. We're going to be making a plant-based miso soup with mushrooms, bok choy, and soba noodles, and adding some egg at the end for protein. This broth is loaded with ginger and garlic to keep your immune system strong, as well as prebiotic vegetables loaded with fiber. We are also going to finish it off with probiotic raw miso paste at the end. Okay, let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our eggs, we're gonna add them to a pot of cold water. We're gonna turn on the heat and bring it up to a boil. We're gonna set a timer for exactly 5 minutes. The second you get up to 5 minutes, you're gonna take your eggs and you're gonna run them under cold water and immediately drop the temperature down, and then just set them aside. We're gonna get started on our broth. We're gonna take a tablespoon or two of sesame oil. We're gonna begin to saute about 2 tablespoons of garlic, 2 tablespoons of ginger, and some scallions, green onions. Wonderful flavors coming out of the ginger and the garlic together. While we saute our vegetables, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our mushrooms. We want the oil to be nice and hot when we add them to the pan. We're not gonna add our mushrooms to cold oil. Absolutely necessary. I'm gonna go ahead and add my mushrooms to the pan. I'm using a blend of Hen of the Woods mushrooms, shiitake, and portobello. Feel free to substitute any type of mushroom that you like. I'm gonna go ahead and add my vegetable broth to the garlic, scallions, and ginger. So we're using the vegetable broth that is our house specialty. We've now used it for 3 of the series of recipes. Of course, if you don't have time to make your homemade vegetable broth, you simply buy the lowest sodium version at the grocery store that you can. We're gonna turn our broth to a medium heat. We're gonna let that come to a gentle simmer. So the trick to the mushrooms, we don't wanna steam the mushrooms. Number 1, we don't crowd the pan. Number 2, we keep the oil hot, and we don't move them around. We're actually gonna let them take time and sear in the pan. You get delicious flavors, just like when you're cooking meat. The caramelization and the sear is what keeps the depth of flavor on the meat. The same with vegetables. Mistakes people commonly make cooking mushrooms is just that. Not having hot enough flame, just essentially being a little bit overly aggressive. And you're gonna see, as we start to turn, a beautiful dark crispy sear on the mushrooms. This is where we're gonna get the most of our flavor developed. We're gonna add a little fresh pepper. Okay, they're looking pretty good. I'm just gonna go ahead and set them to the side. Focus on my broth again. Okay, so our broth has come up to a nice boil. We're gonna go ahead and add our soba noodles. Soba noodles are made with buckwheat flour, which is naturally gluten-free. However, a lot of soba noodles that you'll purchase in a grocery store or a Japanese grocery store will contain wheat. So if you have a gluten allergy, or if you're looking to eat gluten-free specifically, you're definitely gonna wanna check the label. The beauty of this is essentially a one-pot meal, apart from the mushrooms. We're gonna have all this cooked together very quickly and simply and delicious. When our noodles are just about done, we're gonna go ahead and add our bok choy. And the bok choy, we don't want it to overly soften. We just wanna take a little bit of the rawness off, leave it nice and crunchy. Let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes. Then we're gonna go ahead and add all those browned mushrooms that we made before, right to the pot. So the last and final step with the broth is adding the miso paste. So we have a gluten-free white miso paste, which is made essentially from fermented soybeans, salt, and water. It has live probiotics. So this cannot be heated above 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So what we do is we stop cooking our broth, we let it cool, and as it's cooling, we're gonna take the miso paste Add it to just a little bit of water. We're gonna go ahead and whisk it into the water and then go ahead and add it to the broth. Okay, so when it's time to plate, we go ahead and take a ladle. Make sure we get some of those nice chunks of mushroom. We're gonna garnish with a boiled egg, some toasted sesame seeds, and some smoky chili flake. And we're all set. Thanks for tuning in. Join us next month when we'll be cooking for heart health.